You're listening to ESPN Cleveland 101.3, home of The Drive, presented by Hardees, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 p.m.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing. Think about it.
Welcome. But quick fade there. E's back in the building. Quick fade from the woo. He said, all right, let's get it out of the way, and Andy start talking. All right, E.
I mean, I just had to wait 20 seconds for the woo to happen.
That is
long
true.
Intro.
That is true. Hey, I do want to say this before we get rolling too much here on The Drive. Once again, this is Friday edition of The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. I'm Andy Morris along with Jim Gum and our guy Ephraim Kyle on the board today. And I want to give E his props, Jim, because he was a part of what is the three in a row district champion Cleveland Blue Raider baseball team. And listen, I got to call a game PA up at Walker Valley when Cleveland came up there. Listen, he's putting the bat on the ball. I'm just saying that. And I think that night, I believe you barreled like 2 or 3, and I think you hit them right at people though. But you were doing work there in the order, man, and I liked it.
I mean, that's what I do. I think I have one. I have one strikeout on the year, and every single ball has either been hit to somebody. I have like 8 or 9 hits on the year and like 40-something ABs, which is horrible. But like, I have one strikeout. That's the thing.
How many walks do you have though?
3.
Okay.
Listen, you put the ball in play. They've got to do either 2 or 3 things. And you know, they got to catch it and throw it, or just catch it. But still, these days, most people say, the analytics say it's okay to strike out. To me, I'm old school, man. Strikeout it drives me. I was embarrassed when I struck out. I was embarrassed. These days, it's no big deal, though.
I'm okay with guys that have a role in a lineup where, like, listen, your job is to drive in the guys on base. You're the power hitter. We want you swinging away like crazy. I'm okay with those guys having high strikeouts, but I don't like my leadoff guy.
Same here,
and my
man.
2-hole, or my 9-hole guy for that matter, because you're the wraparound guy. When you're hitting in the 9-hole, trying to get it back to those guys that are hitting a little bit more consistently. And I'll tell you what, Michael Harris for the Atlanta Braves hitting out of the 9-hole, he's been able to do that. Excited that he's okay. We're going to talk about that later on. A little bit of a scare, nothing too serious. He was pulled from the game last night, or I say last night, yesterday. It was a day game. But no, E, I definitely wanted to give you your props there. You and Coach Tucker and the Blue Raiders taking care of business on the Diamonds.
3 in a row, man. That's pretty cool.
Coach Tucker as well, 500th win.
500 wins, that's
on
right.
On Tuesday, and then he got his 501st on Thursday. So
now, just to give Coach Tucker a hard time, I've told a lot of people, I said, now listen, a lot of those 500 wins took place down in Georgia.
That is true.
He did. He came up from Georgia, had a lot of success in Georgia, playing a high level of baseball down there. So, all joking aside, that's a big accomplishment, big milestone for Coach Tucker, hitting 500 wins.
You also gave him a hard time over at Walker. He was complaining hard about the nose down foul balls that happen every single time we hit a foul ball, complaining every single time.
Listen, my friends over at Nose Down, I think, even complained about that a little bit. I don't think they knew what they were purchasing when they purchased. So, I got to be transparent on this.
Okay,
so,
you guys explain this Nose Down.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know what you're talking about.
Nose Down is a company that sponsored Walker Valley's foul balls. And, of course, I've, for years now, done the PA for Walker Valley home baseball games. And so this year they sponsored all foul balls. So when a ball goes, and it's not just not down the line inside the confines of the fence, but when it goes out of the park, foul ball, hey, there's another Nose Down foul ball. So Nose Down is a company that they've got apparel. It's the premise behind it, though, is even their logo is a deer with its nose down smelling a scent.
Okay.
And so they sell scents for hunting, and it's that kind of company.
It's starting to make sense.
So shameless plug there for Nose Down. But E got a kick out of it because when Cleveland was up at Walker Valley, I probably got a good 25 nose down foul ball announcements in over the PA. And the Walker Valley home crowd, they laugh about it. They think it's funny. But just a quick insight to that. The first game of the year, Coach Anderson, head coach of the Mustangs, said, hey, these are our sponsors. This is what we're doing this year. Mm-hmm. And I said, foul ball sponsor? Yeah, every foul ball, just give them a plug. I said, Coach, that could be a lot. And Coach Anderson goes, well, let's give it a shot first game and see how it works out. Listen, I was north of 25, and I said, I got to quit. I got to stop. There's too much. And, like, people were giggling, and I started having some fun with it. And so there would be a foul ball that would take place, and I'd say, all right, you know what that is. And the fans would say, nose down, foul ball. Like, it got to that point.
Okay.
So after the game, Coach Anderson, as he was making his way to me, had a smirk on his face and said, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's not do it that much. So
just pick and choose.
So it ended up being only for the away team when they would hit a foul ball,
okay.
And it had to be out of the park, like because I was calling every single one of them just to prove a point.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Wes Anderson, but we had a lot of fun with it. So that's what E was referencing.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're all on the same page. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, it was funny though. We had a good time with it, and Turner Clayton and the Davis brothers, who basketball standouts for Walker Valley, they like to hang out in the press box when I'm doing those games. Those guys were making me laugh while I was announcing them because they were keeping count, like tally marking it and stuff. We had a good time with it.
Yeah, so good for Cleveland High School to have a third straight, and hopefully you guys can advance and go on to greater things. I know you guys got a tournament this weekend, but
district tournament
coming up and everything. So yeah, we'll be paying attention and rooting hard for the Blue Raiders for sure.
Yeah, Bradley Bears, Walker Valley Mustangs, all three in the district tournament. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this: Cleveland's a good baseball team. When they're clicking, man. So they've got the potential to. You guys at E have the potential to go quite a ways, and definitely excited for the opportunity that you have getting to be a part of that. Hey, E flashes the leather too. I want to throw that out.
Yeah, we'll say that.
Oh, you did up at Walker Valley.
I did up at Walker Valley besides one play, but it was completely fine. The error I let up 2 runs for Walker Valley. Ended up losing that game 6-3. So I mean, without the error,
yeah, those are the kind you kind of beat yourself up.
Yeah,
I did when
he made a play though where he laid out and he boom popped it up. I mean, he looked like he was Austin Riley out there or something. I don't know what was going on.
That's
with
what people call me over there.
Yeah,
in
that's
the hot
it.
corner.
Did you ever play baseball?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I did.
Yeah, I played baseball. That was my sport.
I wish I would have played through high school. I quit because I spent a lot of time wrestling, playing football, and ultimately, especially the way this knee barks at me now, I wish I would have played baseball longer than those other two, if anything, because I do. You know this. As much as we talk baseball, as much as I love the Atlanta Braves, I just love baseball in general.
Same here.
And just kind of made an in-the-moment decision as a youth, as a child, to, hey, I'm gonna buy into wrestling, buy into football. Little did I know that as a senior in high school, I was only going to be 5'9", about a $140. So didn't work out too good in the football realm.
I've got something for the show today, and I was going to ask you, and we don't have to do it this segment. We can do it the second segment. But it's talking about, of all the individual stats in team sports, what's the most revered? I'm talking about like all-time home runs, all-time hits, most TD passes, most strikeouts. Of all of the individual records in team sports, which is the one that everyone is the most interested in?
I think it's probably, at least in the past up to this point, the all-time home run record.
See, that's me too.
Yeah,
I think the home run record is the greatest individual record in team sports, and because everyone wants to know who's the greatest home run hitter, who's the greatest.
Yeah.
If I would ask you today, who is the current Major League Baseball home run leader of all current major leaguers?
First, I'm going to show you an asterisk, and then I'm going to say Barry Bonds.
No. I said that's current.
Oh, current
players.
Current active leader in home runs is probably, if I had to, because I actually don't know this, I'm gonna try to give an educated guess on this. I would say that Trout is up there. I would say that Aaron Judge is up there, but also let me throw another name out here. I'm gonna Edwin Encarnacion maybe.
Nope. Giancarlo Stanton.
Okay, Giancarlo. Okay,
Yeah,
see, I didn't even think about Giancarlo.
He has 456 homers. He's got 3 this year. He ranks 40th all time in home runs. I don't know why I looked this up today, but when I got thinking about it, I said, you know, I love numbers. I'm a big stats guy. So let me ask you, and I'm going to I love putting Andy on the
Let's
spot.
do it.
Here.
I'm
Let's
here
put
for
Andy
it.
on the spot here. Okay.
And then when we go to the Dad Gum segment, I'll be the one that comes.
Okay.
Oh.
Most home runs in Major League Baseball history.
Barry Bonds. Asterisk by it, by the way.
Most hits in Major League Baseball history.
Pete Rose.
Yep. Most touchdown passes in NFL history.
Most touchdown passes in NFL history's got to be Tom Brady.
It is.
Yeah.
Most strikeouts in Major League Baseball history.
Nolan Ryan.
Yes. Most wins in Major League Baseball history.
I would say Nolan Ryan.
Wins. Cy Young. Cy Young.
Oh, Cy Young with the most wins.
511.
And see, that's back in the day when guys were winning 30 games in a season. That makes sense.
That record is untouchable.
It is because they would at some points back then have 4-man rotations. We've got teams going 6-man rotation now.
Most stolen bases.
Ricky Henderson.
Yes. Most rushing yards in NFL history.
Emmitt Smith.
Yes. And the last one, and all these are the easiest ones. Most points scored in NBA history.
In NBA history, is it Michael? No, it's not Michael Jordan. I know it's got to be LeBron James.
LeBron
Yeah,
James.
it's got to be LeBron.
Over 43,000. So I tried to come up with the most obvious records, but to me, the home run record is the most revered. All right, let me ask you this.
Hey, was it you yesterday that brought up Wilt Chamberlain?
Yes.
So I listened to the show. First of all, Stephen Shelton filled in yesterday. Great job, along with Jim. Wilt Chamberlain is a guy who, he of course, played down low, but he also played before the three-point line. I'm sure he could shoot
But
good.
He averaged 30 points in his career
Yeah,
per game. 30 points a game in
He
his
is
career.
very, very underappreciated.
Very underappreciated. All right, if I were to ask you to name, there are 4 guys that have hit over 700 home runs. Can you name all 4 of them?
4 guys over 700. Obviously, Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds. And then over 700, Willie Mays.
Nope.
Did not get over 700. King Griffey Jr. did
Wait a
not.
minute. Who did Hank Aaron beat to get
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth.
Okay, so that makes sense.
There's one more, and this one is a fairly modern day guy.
A fairly
Yeah, he
modern
just
day.
retired just a few years ago.
So I feel-
Cardinals.
Oh, Albert Pujols.
Yeah,
That's right.
703.
See,
Only 4 guys.
that's another one that's quieter than it should be.
Quieter than it should be. Kind of like Tomei.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Jim Thome.
Just doesn't get the publicity and the notoriety, but it was because they were so consistent.
Which, by the way, King Griffey Jr. probably would hold that record had he not have been hurt
You're
as
right.
much as he was.
Yeah, Griffey hit 630 home runs. He's 7th all time.
He might have hit 800 if he would have been healthy. I don't know.
But I don't know what made me think about that. I was like the most revered records in team sports, and I think the home run record to me is easily number 1.
Can I tell you what messes it up for football, though? Kickers score a lot of points.
Right.
Nobody.
All-time points. I couldn't tell you.
I appreciate a good kicker. I do, and I want a good kicker on my team. But who cares? Nobody cares. And I'm not trying to be mean to the kickers out there, but no one really.
Who was that field goal kicker that kicked for the Colts and the Patriots?
Vinatieri.
He might be the all-time leading
Adam
scorer.
Vinatieri.
I'd have to look that up. But as far as
I'm on it.
Who looks up the all-time leading scorer in NFL history? Because you're right, it's an NFL kicker. Although Jerry Rice scored a lot of touchdowns in his career. Now he's the greatest wide receiver in NFL history as far as touchdowns. But I think there's probably a couple, 2 or 3 kickers. That's probably the number 1 scorer in NFL history.
You were spot on. It's Adam Vinatieri. He scored 2,673 points in his career, which is, listen, that's
a lot of
extremely
field goals, a lot of extra points.
extremely valuable. I mean, not to discredit what he did. That's an amazing accomplishment. But it would be a little bit more meaningful to see a name like Walter Payton on there, a name like
or
Emmitt
Jerry
Smith.
Rice.
Yeah, exactly.
So like a position guy, instead of a kicker.
Yeah, the top 5 are all kickers. Adam Vinatieri, Morton Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
Gary Anderson, Jason Hansen, and John Carney.
What is Jerry Rice in that top 10 or top 15 or anywhere you see first scores?
I'm going to see. I'm pulling it up here.
Because Jerry Rice scored a lot of touchdowns in his career. So did Emmitt Smith. But they scored a lot of points. But the
Just some
kickers-
insight. Sebastian Janikowski's at 12.
Is that right?
So that Matt Prater 13, Phil Dawson, and these guys stuck around a long time.
We are boring our listeners to death right now. There's absolutely no doubt.
But the top 20 are all kickers.
Yeah. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how many kickers do you see go in the first round of the NFL draft?
Speaking of the NFL
Never.
draft, yeah. Speaking of the NFL draft,
What an exciting night last night was.
I tell you what, and listen. I know that you were hoping that Jeremiah Love would go to the Titans. Obviously, he's going to the Cardinals out there in the West Division, and your other running back from the Notre Dame Fighting
Jadarian.
Irish Prize going to Seattle, the defending Super Bowl champion. So think about this: Love's going to the hapless Cardinals, and the other guy is going to the world champions.
Yeah.
Like. Man, there's just some doesn't seem fair here.
First of all, you're stealing my thunder here, Jim, because that's exactly one thing I wanted to talk about today. Jadarian Price is honestly, had he had been at another school outside of Notre Dame, I mean, he's probably going not just in the first round, but he's probably a top 15, top 20. He's that good of a running back. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And Notre Dame just extremely lucky to have landed both those guys. And Jadarian had an ankle injury early in his career that kind of it staggered him to where Jeremiah Love was taking the bulk of the carries and kind of establishing himself. Well, then when Jadarian gets healthy and gets back, it ended up being the best 1-2 punch in all of college football on the ground.
No question.
And so, to your point, what better situation for Jadarian Price to go to Seattle after the season they just had?
And who was it? Walker was the MVP in the Super Bowl. So you talk about a loaded
they run the
backfield.
football.
Yeah, they love
and they
to run
got
the ball.
bodies up front that are going to block for them.
So it's very, very advantageous to be there.
Didn't Kenneth Walker also get traded to the Chiefs already too?
Yes.
So that's another open spot with Charbonnet.
But he was the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So
For Seattle.
So they love to run the football. So they've got Charbonnet right there, I think, in Seattle too. So you still got two really quality running backs.
I think that was a brilliant pick for them because Jadarian Price is going to be able to adjust to the speed of the NFL and get acclimated because of the depth of the running back room in Seattle and because of the offensive line. He's not going to just be thrown to the wolves like Jeremiah Love is.
Well, Jeremiah Love doesn't even have an established quarterback there. And the offensive line is very spotty up over there.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love is an elite pass catcher. There were times that Notre Dame would use him. They'd motion him out and put him in the slot. He'd be a slot receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They do that a lot with him. Swing passes out of the backfield. That's something, and you mentioned it yesterday. He is an elite pass catcher. Getting him outside of the tackle box is going to be a big deal in Arizona, especially in his rookie season. But it's frustrating to me for Jeremiah Love because I was thinking, hey, he's going to the Titans. And just a little insight for our listeners, which, by the way, all you got to do is listen to our show each and every day, or if you want to go back and listen to it, give us a follow on Facebook. By the way, did you start the live stream?
I did.
Attaboy, E. So streaming live on Facebook, ESPN Cleveland 1013. Also, download the free ESPN Cleveland 1013 app, and you can listen anywhere in the world. But going back to Jeremiah Love and going to the Cardinals, so we're not only huge Notre Dame fans, we genuinely love Jeremiah Love. My young daughters, 9 and 12, like that's their favorite player. They know his favorite comic books, which he's got his own comic book and stuff. And so like they like the guy. And we were completely geared and set. And I told Stephen Shelton this earlier today, talked to him on the phone. And I said we were ready to be Titans fans. If they picked Jeremiah Love, which they should have picked up, and I think traded up for that third pick.
Yep.
And they gambled because that's who they really wanted. And I don't know if they were just so set that, hey, we can go 3 or 4 here. No point in giving up a second round to trade up for a spot. Maybe they were just content enough to go with Carnell Tate. And listen, Carnell Tate is going to be an elite receiver in the NFL. I do not question that at all. But I think the Titans wanted Love and thought he'd be sitting there, and he wasn't. And they said, okay, well, I guess we're going to go Tate. I think they were reactive.
Yeah, a lot of people were questioning what the Cardinals were going to do. You know, they had a lot of options there. And a lot of people thought that Arvell Reese would be the guy that they would select.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They passed on him, and they got Jeremiah Love. And then the Titans were determined they were either going to get who they thought was the best offensive weapon to help Ward. Obviously, Love goes, so they go wide receiver instead of running back, and they end up with Carnell Tate. Like I said, I think Carnell Tate is going to really be good, But I was shocked that they picked him, to be honest with you, because there were so many other players that were rated higher than him, but they were determined to get an offensive weapon, so that's who they picked.
But I do think the Titans hit a home run with the 31st pick. Edge rusher from Auburn, Falk.
Yep.
I think that was a great pick.
It was.
I just going back and watching, thinking of the Auburn games that I watched this past year whenever they weren't shooting themselves in the foot. Shout out War Eagle, right?
Yep. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Just what a mess Auburn was last year. But they were constantly pressuring the quarterback, and Falk was a part of the reason why that was happening. So I think that was definitely a good pick at 31. Obviously, you mentioned my guy Jadarian Price to the Seahawks at 32, another good pick. But I want to ask you, Jim, of the first round, which pick shocked you the most, and which pick did you think was the best pick?
Well, Ty Simpson shocked me. I thought Ty Simpson might go in the first round, but I thought it'd be like in the 20s or a little bit lower than that. So he goes 13 to the really good organization in the Rams. He'll be able to learn under Stafford. I think Ty Simpson's a good quarterback. The only thing is he just didn't have as many starts at the college level that you would like. But I think talent-wise, he's very highly touted, very highly thought of. He's extremely intelligent, and that you got to have an intelligent guy to be your signal caller. So I think it's a great situation for Ty Simpson. Although the coach was a little bit
Sean McVay
taken back by this.
He seemed like he had no part of that.
But
pick.
he wanted someone that was going to help him in 2026, and he doesn't feel like Ty Simpson's going to help him in 2026. But Ty Simpson may be the guy for 10 years once Stafford is gone.
I don't know that he is,
but
though.
we don't know that he isn't. That's the thing. He may be.
And so, do you gamble your first pick on that?
Well, apparently they did, and we'll see.
That's
Listen,
crazy to me.
Ty Simpson was very highly thought of, but some people thought because he hadn't had but 15 starts in his collegiate career that he's too high of a risk. Well, the Rams, the brass there, the GM thought, you know what, we feel really good about this kid, and we're willing to let him sit for a year to learn. And then 2027, we'll see. Maybe Stafford is more or less maybe his career is coming to an end, and they've got a guy that's sat for a whole year learning the way that it works in the NFL. Listen, Kansas City is a great example. They did not throw Mahomes to the Wolves.
Yeah,
they let him.
They sat him.
They let him sit for a whole year. He learned, came in his second year, and he's been just balling ever since. And listen, maybe Simpson can do the same thing. We'll have to wait and see.
So we are going to.
That's a shock. That was a shock.
Yeah, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to continue to talk about the NFL draft because being the college football fans that we are here on the drive, Ohio State, Indiana, Notre Dame, pretty impressive first round of the draft. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about all that when we come back here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Whatever you've got planned Saturday, cancel it. This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway, the #1 volume Kia dealership in Tennessee, announcing a grand opening of our amazing new facility this Saturday, April 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The first 5 car buyers will receive a 50-inch TV, and we've got free car washes, free food, games, prizes for everyone, plus hundreds of cars to choose from. Interest rates as low as 0%. No payments for 90 days. Come see me, John Davis, this Saturday, April 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Bring your entire family. Free car washes, free food, games, and prizes for everyone. The first 5 car buyers will receive a 50-inch TV during the grand opening of the all-new Kia of Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where buying a car is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
2083 per thousand. Finance for 48 months at 0 APR on select models through KFA. Subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
A most elevated experience has arrived at Hardees. Prime rib. Tender, succulent prime rib. Bathed in au jus. Placed upon char-broiled Angus beef. The new prime rib experience with a burger exuding fancy flavor at a not-so-fancy price. Just $5.99 for My Rewards members on the app for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included. Not valid for use within a combo or in combination with any other offer or discount.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust: Mohawk, Shaw, Engineered Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered.
Text us at 423-749-1013 on the Warren and Griffin text line. Cleveland's personal injury attorneys.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Whether you hurt yourself playing sports, suffer an accident, or take a fall, injuries can happen unexpectedly. The emergency room isn't your only choice. The Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics offers an alternative to the ER that just can't wait. So
that's good stuff. Center for Sports Medicine. Shout out to those guys. Took care of me. They'll take care of you. If first of all, I hope no one out there needs to go under the knife. But if you need to, that's where you need to go. Those guys, great job with my knee.
So this time last year, you had how long?
This time last year, I wasn't worth a flip, Jim.
You were hobbling around and everything else, and now you look like a new man.
That's right. I could go out and run, not very far.
I don't believe that.
But so to get back to the NFL draft, we were talking about this during the commercial break. 325,000 people in attendance there in Pittsburgh. And first of all, the setup, they were just showing it here. They're already packed in. Our guy, RC, who's going to be coming on the show with us, can't get a signal because there's so many people there. Cell phone reception is non-existent.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So just looking here at the TV, we've got the College Game Day crew on, which and there were there's so many layers to this onion, this NFL draft that we could talk about.
They were on 3 different channels.
That's
last
right.
night.
And I watched. Anytime I get an opportunity to watch the Game Day crew, I'm watching those guys because being the college fan I am.
That's an ABC.
Yes. So that's what I was watching on ABC, and I believe you were on ESPN, right?
I was on ESPN. I also went to the NFL Network to watch it on there. They all 3 do it good. They're different.
So who was on NFL Network?
Rich Eisen.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's on there. Mike Greenberg is hosting the one on ESPN, and of course Reese Davis is hosting the College Game Day guys on ABC.
I did see where Mike Greenberg, I believe, messed up a pick
the
with
49ers and Dolphins. The Dolphins got that trade, and he didn't even notice it after they
that's
announced it. Yeah, he still said, "Oh, he's staying in the same state." No, he's going from California to Florida.
Hey, Mike, they're holding up a Dolphins jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not red. That's teal.
That was bad, man. That was a bad look.
Listen, Mike Greenberg's a guy who I've listened to and enjoyed his takes for years, and it's easy. We can sit here and kind of take his back a little bit here because
listen, I just had a brain. You know what? Because I couldn't remember Patrick Mahomes' name it just slipped right out of my mind.
It's so easy to get caught up sometimes.
It is.
And like I know there's been times where like I'm looking something up here on the laptop, and you're like, "Hey, do you remember that, Andy?" And I look at you and I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What are you talking about?"
How many times have we do this? We're talking about something. You and I are talking about it. Jacob's over here, and all of a sudden he'll make a comment. And we're like, Jacob, we just mentioned that like 3 minutes ago. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking."
Yeah, because Jacob can't stay off his phone. That's the problem there.
That was so fun. I know he's done that 10 times.
Jacob's like a 16-year-old girl. Shots fired, Jacob Mason.
Yeah,
I hope you're
shots
listening.
Fired. But no, so it happens. It happens for sure.
Yeah, no, but going back to the coverage, I enjoy watching the Game Day crew. I enjoy hearing what Nick Saban had to say. And the cool thing about this is I know all the Alabama players. Nick Saban obviously recruited most of them, knows a lot of them. Alabama players that played for him that transferred elsewhere.
What? Caleb Downs,
like Caleb
former
Downs,
Alabama guy who goes to Ohio State.
I appreciate that take from him alone, and then obviously the game day crew just kind of gives you that feel. Even my wife. So I sent you and Jacob a picture. She did a great job. Made a little bit of a spread. Had a veggie plate, and this isn't store bought. This is Lauren in the kitchen getting it prepped, man.
Oh, so this is the pick is in picture that you sent.
Yes. And no, not that one. It's not that one. Shout out Mike Vrabel. We'll talk about that here in a little bit too.
Oh my gosh!
But so she, Jim went there, not me. For one, listen, I'm rubbing off on Jim a little bit here.
Are, man.
So she made this awesome spread, and she even said, she goes, you know what, I'm ready for fall Saturdays. And I said, oh, listen, the Braves are just getting going, and don't go there yet.
129 days away, Andy.
And as I was sitting there eating, I looked at her and I said, yeah, I kind of am too. Just something about college football and having the food, the wings and all the stuff. I do look forward to it. But going back to the TV coverage, really enjoyed that on ABC. But plenty of options, and of course, able to listen here as well. Tennessee Titans coverage.
Right.
And again,
in fact, right after we go off today, they're going to be doing the ESPN version of it. Yeah,
perfect. And so I do hate that I'm not going to be a Tennessee Titans fan. Going to follow them, going to report on them, going to talk to you guys about them. But if they just would have traded up and got my guy Jeremiah Love, I would have came in. I promise you, I would have went and bought Titans gear to wear into the show today. But instead, I knew he was going to be here. He's a Roll Tide Alabama fan, so I decided to wear this 1973 Sugar Bowl Notre Dame victory over Alabama T-shirt instead.
But Alabama did split the national championship with Notre Dame that year.
Yeah, head-to-head matters, doesn't it?
Hey, the UPI, man, they crowned him prior to the bowl game, so hey, it counts.
Back then, there was so much crazy shenanigans that would go down as far as crowning champions.
Man, I was around when there were so many split national championships when I was growing up. It was crazy. I'll say this. A split national championship would have been gold for a talk show.
Oh, no doubt.
Gold. I mean, we could have ridden that pony for a week and a half.
Hey, speaking of that guy that used to be on the show, Jacob Mason, he and I, going back to 2017, used to go back and forth. Do you acknowledge UCF's claimed national title from 2017?
It's in the NCAA records book, okay? Do I acknowledge it? I know it's on their stadium. They got it put on their stadium on the press box. But to me, Alabama's the national champion that year.
Alabama did win the national championship, and if I had to pick between the two, legitimately.
Wasn't it the Billingsley report that gave it to him?
Yes.
I think Billingsley or Colley Matrix or something like that.
Yeah, one of those
gave it to UCF.
I acknowledge it because we had an imperfect format.
Yeah, it's in the NCAA records book.
Yes, they weren't given an opportunity to play for the true national title. They weren't beat. They didn't lose a game.
Yeah, they went undefeated.
They were undefeated. So, in my mind, give them a piece of the pie.
Yep.
But do we know Alabama was a national champ that year? Of course we do.
Listen, 2012, Ohio State 12-0. Urban Meyer's first year there. Ohio State was on probation, could not go to a bowl game. Ohio State does not claim a national championship. They were like, we didn't get to go. No, don't feel sorry for us. Hey, in 2 years, they won one. But they don't try to say, yeah, we're going to claim a national championship for 2012 because we were undefeated.
Sanctions in place, yeah.
I'm sorry. Stuff like that, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go. Alabama's national champ that year. But, yes, in the NCAA records book, there are two national champions. Alabama won every poll except for one. And I think it was either Colley Matrix or Billingsley that UCF is number one. So there you go.
And in honor of our guy E, who's here with us today, and our guy Gavin Strickland, who's Walker Valley student intern here at the station, Row Tide. I'm going to just throw that out there for you real quick.
I mean, Florida State, even if we want to go, Florida State was what, 14, 15-0? And they're making it over a 10-2.
They lost that bowl game. All the players had opted out. So, I mean, Georgia just crushed them in that bowl game. But, boy, I can't imagine how mad I would have been if I was a Florida State fan and we're undefeated. Yeah, I know our quarterback got
related to one. He was
irate. And they got selected. They got jumped by Alabama.
Yeah.
because they lost their quarter. I'd been irate if I was a Florida State fan, but I'm not a Florida State fan, but I could feel their pain.
Hey, fortunately for Jim Gum, he's an Ohio State Buckeye fan. And can we I want to talk about the Buckeyes for a second. What an impressive first round of the NFL draft the Buckeyes had, because in the top 11 picks, they had 4 guys go. To me, that is absurd.
If you'd have told me that Carnell Tate would have been the first Ohio State player picked, I'd have said, there's no way. He'll be the last Ohio State player picked of those 4 guys. But no, I thought Caleb Downs was probably the more talented player, and he was the last guy picked. He was number 11. So they had Downs going to Dallas. You had Sonny Styles going to Washington. You have Arvell Reese going to the Giants, and, of course, Carnell Tate going to the Tennessee Titans. So 4 guys out of the top 11, that's pretty impressive.
Which I think Downs to Dallas was a
And Dallas
run.
Needs defensive.
That was
guys
a
big
home
time.
run for the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys need a lot of help on the defensive side, and I think their second pick in the first round, I think they also went defense as well. Trying to look that up. Who did Dallas get? Oh yeah,
Lawrence
from UCF, an edge rusher.
Yeah, so they address
UCF.
Yeah, they address needs.
Yeah.
And I think that I think some people just bash the Cowboys because they're the Cowboys.
They hate them. They're hated.
But I think they address some needs defensively. Obviously, the Parsons debacle a year ago, him going to Green Bay and all that's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they're a flawless organization, but I think that was a solid first round for them.
Yep.
I think the New York Jets, this has kind of been a national narrative, but the New York Jets had 3 first-round picks, and every single pick made them better.
Yeah,
every single pick.
I thought the Jets did extremely well with their drafting last night. So getting David Bailey, I thought that was a good pick for them. They had 3 picks in the first round.
Yeah,
and they did a really good job. They did a good job.
So Omar Cooper, the receiver from Indiana, was their 3rd and final pick of the first round, going to the New York Jets. That's a guy who and for anyone that might not remember who he is, he's the one that made the insane catch against Penn State in the back of the end zone to win the game. Got the toe down. Very, very impressive receiver, and he's long. He can go up and get the football. That's a guy that is going to immediately impact your receiver room.
And that tight end they got, that Kenyon Sadiq, he has been compared to Pitts for the Falcons. So he's a very fast, athletic tight end. So they addressed several needs with the Jets. And listen, that's an organization that's had nothing but bad luck over the last decade or so. They're due for a turnaround there. So I think they've got a good start to the 2026 season.
So one thing that I do like about the NFL draft are the feel-good stories that you kind of see in here. Obviously, we talked about Jadarian Price, his backstory. His mom had cancer. Father wasn't in the picture. He helped raise his sisters and take care of his mom. That was one that I've obviously known about, him being a Notre Dame kid.
And Mendoza, his mom, the reason he wasn't there in Pittsburgh,
MS.
What a great story that is too.
So then there was another one. I believe it was Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. Is he the one that had the severe stutter?
I cannot remember that. Now, that one you've got me on.
I'm pretty sure that it was him. I could be wrong. Listen, if I am wrong, text us on the Warren and Griffin.
He transferred to Texas A&M from somewhere. I think it was an ACC school that he was at.
I think it was NC State.
I think it was NC State.
So if I am wrong, text us on the Warren and Griffin text line 423-749-1013. But he was the one, I believe, that had the stuttering problem as a kid, and he continues to be vocal and speak publicly, and his stutter is not near as bad as it used to be, but he does it so kids with stutters can see that they can be successful. And I was like, dude, that's such a good feel-good moment. And then the guys that come up, the two-time brain cancer survivor.
Oh, my gosh. The guy that introduced the Seattle Seahawks pick.
Yeah.
What a great.
He was so fired up.
And I don't know if you know this, but Bo Jackson used to have a bad stuttering issue. When he won the Heisman Trophy,
it was the
Auburn.
Ravens who he introduced.
Okay.
I believe it was the Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were several feel-good stories about people that introduced their team's picks and everything. But when Bo Jackson won the Heisman Trophy with Auburn, he stuttered very, very severely back then. But he's overcome that, and he doesn't stutter at all now. So he overcame that as an adult. Usually, if you're a stutterer as an adult, that's just something you live with the rest of your life. But he was able to somehow he said it was an insecurity thing.
Yeah.
That's why he stuttered. And then he became more outward and became an extrovert instead of an introvert, and he was able to overcome his stuttering. So stuff like that's really cool.
Yeah, and then, of course, the number 3 overall pick, Jeremiah Love, my guy, undiagnosed, but basically will tell you that he's on the autism spectrum.
Is that right?
Yes. And so many things in this NFL draft. I hope any kids that listen to our show out there just continue to chase your dreams, because these guys are great representations of just being consistent, showing up, working hard, and it paying off.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember who was the kid, Andy, that started playing football in junior college. And I even texted
It was a Hawaiian kid.
I'm like,
It was one of the Hawaiian kids.
This guy's only played football for like 4 years in his entire life.
Is that appropriate?
And he's a first-round draft pick.
Samoan, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We texted about this last night. I'll look it up real quick.
What was it? The Utah lineman?
I think that's who it was. Yeah, I think that's who it was. Anyway, but think about that. You've only played football for 3 or 4 years your entire life. Not only are you drafted in the NFL, you're drafted in the first round of the NFL. To me, that's one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. I've never heard of anyone going into the first round of the NFL and only playing football for less than 3 years in your entire life, or around 3 or 4 years, whatever it was. Just incredible story.
Yeah, that really is. And we've talked on this show before about guys trying to make the transition from different sports into the NFL. Like we saw Gable Stevenson, who is a NCAA wrestling standout Olympic gold medalist, and he made a practice squad for a little while up in Buffalo, but that's such a hard transition. Stephen Neal's a guy who comes to mind, didn't play college football, but started on Bill Belichick's offensive line for many years and was a NCAA champion for Cal State Bakersfield in wrestling.
Right.
So that is something that it takes a very special athlete to be able to do.
It was Max Inaker. He was from Arizona State. He was drafted by the Steelers. Started playing football at the junior college level. Started playing college football because he's not from the United States. He came, I think, from one of those countries in Africa. His family moved to the States. He started playing football at the junior college level. First round draft pick, 21st player picked. Unbelievable story.
I remember there for a while to kind of get the attention of our Tennessee Vol fans. I don't know. Do you remember Konstantin Ritzman?
Yeah, from Germany or something like that.
Yeah, he's from Germany. There for a while.
Tennessee. They called him the Germinator.
Yeah.
Remember?
Tennessee had a little bit of a pipeline to Europe to these phenomenal athletes that had never really played football
that's a
before.
Name. I hadn't heard that name in years.
Yeah, it just kind of triggered that memory for me. But Tennessee fans, Konstantin Ritzman was a guy that I really enjoyed following and keeping up with, and was a fun story.
I don't know if you know this, but there is a professional football league in Europe. Austin Herrick, who we had on our show here, he's a coach down there at UCF. He played there in Europe for about 3 years.
Yeah, Bryce Nunley, former Walker Valley wide receiver, still has a really good career going on over there.
Is he still over there? Yeah, Austin, I think he stayed either 2 or 3 years, decided he wanted to get into coaching, came back to the States, began his coaching career at East Tennessee. Now he's been all over the map. He's been to, Colorado, Arizona, University of Washington. Now he's at UCF coaching under Scott Frost. So his dream was to become a coach, and if you're in that world, you better not have your bags packed, because there's a lot of movement amongst coaches at that level. Then you become established, you can kind of sink your roots into a certain area. But I think it's really cool that they have a professional football. And I think those European leagues, I think they're only allowed like 5 or 6 Americans. The rest of them have to be from
locals.
Europe. Yeah, have to be.
Yeah, trying to grow the sport there a little bit. That makes sense. I kind of miss the NFL Europe. Do you remember NFL Europe?
Oh yeah,
that was
absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
I remember watching some local names play over there, like Gerald Riggs.
Yeah,
played at Red Bank High School. Obviously, great career at Tennessee. Went over there playing the NFL Europe for a little bit.
Of course, his dad was a big time player with the Falcons and won a Super Bowl ring with the Redskins.
Yeah, Big Gerald.
The Redskins. Ooh, that's a name we're not supposed to say.
No, well, we can say it. It existed. It happened. So speaking of, next year the NFL draft in DC.
Are they going to have it at the mall there, and like
that? That would be awesome.
I mean,
the visuals. Just think about the flyovers. The visuals.
325,000, right?
God, my patriotism is bleeding out of me right now, Jim.
They could have 500,000 people there in Washington. That's a big area right there.
This is turning into, just seeing again. If you missed it last segment, Pittsburgh broke an attendance record for the NFL draft. 325,000 people showed up yesterday for the first round of the NFL draft. And you've got to imagine that's going to be something each and every year. Whoever the host city is, there's going to be an effort
to break the record.
Yes, there's going to be an effort.
And can you imagine standing there for 3 hours? I'm sure the porta potty lines are beyond long, or you're bringing something else to whatever.
Is that why you get up every 5 minutes from when we go to break?
When you get my
I'm
age,
messing
Andy,
with you, Jim.
When you get my
I'm the one that
you,
does
you
that.
You can't hold it as long as you want.
I'm super hydrated all the time, nothing but water.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
But so round 2 starts tonight. First pick of the second round, the 49ers. But kind of looking at what's coming up here in the second round tonight, your Bengals are picking at number 9. And the Atlanta Falcons enter the party. They're picking at 16 tonight, the 48th overall pick. Obviously, didn't get a first-round pick.
Neither did the Bengals.
Yeah,
but they got that trade last week, so I was happy with the trading that number 10 pick for who we got.
Yeah,
Dexter Lawrence. I'll take that.
So the Falcons gave up that first-round pick to get James Pierce, which big news there.
Yep.
So I don't know if you've heard this or not, but it sounds like they're going to get it settled. He's not going to serve any jail time. He's got to go to.
Unbelievable.
It is. It really is. Don't get me started. I'm not going to talk negatively about James Pierce today, but I know a lot of Falcons fans, as far as what you've invested in James Pierce, the football player, it's going to be good to know that you didn't give all that up for nothing. He's going to contribute, and he's a guy that has a very, very bright future in the NFL. But now the question is, does the NFL say, hey, you're getting an 8-game suspension? What is their role?
I think that you'll see that, because that was something. Listen, the NFL tries to keep tabs of all this stuff, and I believe that the NFL will suspend him for X number of games. What that number is going to be, I don't know. But yeah, I fully expect him to be suspended the first half of the season. But there was a good chance this kid was going to spend multiple years in prison.
Yeah.
So he just getting a slap on the wrist, basically, he better be counting his lucky stars, because I did not see this coming, being able to play at all in 2026.
Yeah, for the Atlanta Falcons fans out there, I'm a firm believer in like learning hard lessons, and I hope that just the pressure of all this, the fear of all this, is a wake-up call to him.
Well, I would certainly hope so.
And I hope it pays off for the Atlanta Falcons. And this drives Jim crazy. If you're a first-time listener, I'll give you the quick version on this. I consider myself a Falcons fan. Consider myself a Cleveland Browns fan. Grew up a Browns fan. They disappeared, started pulling for the Falcons. I was ready to consider myself a Tennessee Titans fan. Now, Jim is of the belief he is nothing but Bengals. He's from Cincinnati.
Yep.
Cincinnati Bengals fan. I'm more of a college football fan. I love the NFL, but I'm not as invested. So I feel like I had a decent reason to say I'm a Browns and a Falcons fan. Mm-hmm. And I was prepared to be a Tennessee Titans fan too. But that irks Jim a little bit. So with that, E, I don't know if you're ready, but we're going to go over to our Dad Gum segment.
Oh, no.
With Jim Gum. And he may not even complain about that. You've probably got something good and lined up.
I've got something lined up.
Okay, but I wanted to make sure the people out there knew that I'm more of a fan of the game more so than just one team.
Okay.
Cue the music.
Dadgummit. Dadgummit.
Dadgum. Dadgummit. Dadgum.
Dadgummit.
Get it and go to the goal line with a dadgum ball.
Daggone it and dad blame it.
Dadgummit. No.
Okay, Andy, you're holding a thing right there, and you see the ESPN logo on there?
I sure do.
Uppercase E, uppercase S, uppercase P, lowercase n. Stuff like that drives me crazy, okay? And the reason I said that, it's always driven me crazy ever since they made their logo. I saw a 7-Eleven sign the other day. You know 7-Eleven, the convenience store?
I sure do, Jim.
The 7, and you get the uppercase E, uppercase L, uppercase E, uppercase V, uppercase E, lowercase n at the end, just like ESPN. Why? Why? Explain to me why you have to do stuff like. I'm such a funny person. Be consistent.
I'm about to break.
Do not have it. Do you not notice that's a lowercase n?
So I'm about to be the party buster here. on this one. So if you obviously back in your day you learned how to write in cursive, correct,
Yes,
Jim?
absolutely.
What does a capital N look like in cursive?
That's not cursive though. That's print.
You're right. It's not.
So you can't use that analogy.
But
you can't use cursive and print.
You know how many people, and I've complained about this. The people say, "Oh, the Braves are using the lowercase a." It's not lowercase. It's a cursive a.
Cursive a. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but that is a lowercase n. But 100% of the time.
As someone who writes in cursive and in print, I sometimes mix the two together as I'm writing, just as I'm writing quick, and I'll use a letter in my cursive that is a capital print letter and then write in cursive. So I could defend this as a capital N in cursive.
It's indefensible. I'm sorry. It's indefensible. And lowercase n in the ESPN logo, a lowercase n in the 7-Eleven logo. Come on, man. Be consistent. Don't do this to me, because I sit there and I look at every time I see the ESPN logo, I'm like, they got a lowercase n with 3 other uppercase letters.
It just drives Jim crazy.
Drives me crazy. So that is my dadgum segment for today.
Dadgum.
Be consistent. Gosh.
Shout out ESPN for giving us this affiliation here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. But no, always look forward to our dadgum moments here on the drive. A lot of fun. So we've only taken one commercial break, right?
We need to take another one.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take our second. When we come back, we'll probably continue to talk NFL.
Because Braves baseball.
Yeah, we're going to talk some Braves baseball, but there's some guys still out there in the NFL draft that some locals might know, like Jermod McCoy. Where's he going to go? Is he going the second round?
He'll be. A lot of people thought he might end up in the first round. I'm sure he'll be taken pretty early this evening.
Yeah, all that along with some Atlanta Braves baseball coverage when we come back to the drive here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
A most elevated experience has arrived at Hardees. Prime rib, tender succulent prime rib, bathed in au jus, placed upon char-broiled Angus beef. The new prime rib experience with a burger exuding fancy flavor at a not-so-fancy price. Just $5.99 for My Rewards members on the app for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included. Not valid for use within a combo or in combination with any other offer or discount.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
Cleveland Tire Center having a huge sale on Goodyear tires. Buy 3 Goodyears, get 1 free. Don't forget the Cleveland Tire Center service department for alignments, oil changes, and more. Cleveland Tire Center, 4699 North Lee Highway, where the name says it all. Goodyear, more driven.
Hey, this is Alfonso, the general manager of Crown Cleveland, your local home for Jeep and Ram. I'm here to announce that we have revamped our express lane. We are fully staffed and ready to take care of all your quick lube and oil needs. Please Google Crown Cleveland and see our great service specials.
For decades, Best Buy Metals has been shaping more than metal. We've been building strength, one roof, one wall, one community at a time. This isn't just roofing and siding, it's steel formed with purpose, made to withstand difficult storms, because what we make doesn't just cover buildings, it protects what matters most. Get inspired today by visiting bestbymetalroof.com. Best Buy Metals, designed to inspire, made to protect, driven to serve.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Shout out to our friends over at Mayfield Dairy, sponsoring this segment, MayfieldDairy.com.
Go ahead and read it, Andy.
Yeah, Jim,
be official.
So I've got to fill everybody in on what the conversation was during the break, but Mayfield Dairy Chocolate Milk is a great recovery drink for athletes or anyone who likes to exercise. It's rich in calcium and vitamin D. Get Mayfield Chocolate Milk at numerous locations here in our area and find out more at MayfieldDairy.com. Shout out Mayfield, sponsors of all things Atlanta Braves here on the drive, which we're about to get to in just a second. But so Jim's dadgum moment, we decided to kind of dive into that, and he doesn't like the fact that brands like ESPN, 7-Eleven use what he considers to be the lowercase n.
The design, the lowercase
Yes,
design
in the logos.
but they made it the same height as the the capital letters.
So we literally just spent our entire break researching that, trying to figure out, and it's come to find out in 1969,
the wife of the CEO,
she decided that the capital N made it look too aggressive,
too harsh,
and wanted to make it a little bit softer, so they went with the lowercase. That's why they did it. So ESPN's justification is for aesthetics, structural balance, and brand recognition. So if you look at the ESPN logo, there's a line that goes through the text at the probably the upper third of the letters. And when you look at that, the N would have been broken into two different sections. So I can kind of understand why they did it.
Okay.
Jim doesn't, though. Jim says dadgummit.
Dadgum. I guess it would have looked like an uppercase I at the end if they'd have broken it up.
It would have.
So anyway, whatever.
And then we'd be calling it Espini.
Hey, listen, there are families that have named their children Espen. It's because they're big Espen. ESPN, the kid's name Espen.
My dog's name is Espen. Actually, ESPN spelled just exactly
Espen.
like that.
But you call him Espen.
Yeah, capital E, lowercase SPN, but I don't call him, capital E, capital S, capital P, lowercase n.
Yeah,
Espen.
That's right.
So, maybe we've gone just a little too long on this, man. We need to move off of this.
I'm pretty sure that there's a Adam Sandler movie where one of his daughter's name is Espen.
Gotta be.
Yeah. Pretty sure we'll dive into that one later on too. But hey, let's talk some Atlanta Braves baseball, because the Atlanta Braves are about as hot as the hot sauce they like to advertise on the Braves radio network. Shout out to those guys.
That's right.
We're not going to give them the plug here because they're not paying us. But the Braves do have the largest division lead in Major League Baseball, 5.5 games now. They're 11, or I actually think they're 12-3
since the brawl
with the Angels. We're going to keep tab of that and make sure that we continue to get that out there, because that's one of my all-time favorite stats of this year's Atlanta Braves baseball team. But yesterday, the Braves did beat the Nationals in Game 4 of the series 7-2, taking the series 3-1, and they remain the only team in Major League Baseball to have won every single series up to this point.
Man. At this time last year, they couldn't get out of their own way.
Yep.
And this year, they're playing solid. They're hitting the ball, scoring a lot of runs. Listen, the pitching has been super, super consistent. So they look like one of the better teams in all Major League Baseball. I think the Dodgers are still a little bit better, but it's not a big margin. The Braves are right there.
As I like to say, how about them Braves? That's something that a lot of Braves country, you hear that throughout the 90s. We're bringing it back. How about them Braves? It's about as good of a time to be a Braves fan than there's ever been with the way they're starting this 2026 season. I do want to say this. Some game notes from yesterday's game. It was a
businessman special. We'll say it.
Jim said it. That a baby.
That's right.
And
Old
of course,
school, man.
Of course, winning the game 7-2. Listen, it's been a long week. We can say what we want. But they win the game 7-2. And Stephen Shelton yesterday was talking about the Atlanta Braves, and he threw my guy Ozzie Albies under the bus. He said if Ozzie could get going like everybody else on the team, just for the record, Ozzie had 3 hits yesterday, 4 RBIs, and a home run. So Stephen Shelton, Ozzie heard you, and he took care of business yesterday. Money Mike had 3 hits as well. Guess who else had 3 hits? Matt Olson. So solid day.
He's having a good year.
Yeah, solid day from those guys. And then talking about feel-good stories from the NFL draft, feel-good stories from the Atlanta Braves, Big Dom Smith had 2 hits yesterday, continues to contribute in this order.
And the pitcher, he gives up a leadoff home run to the first guy he faces, actually first pitch, if I'm not mistaken, and then he goes 7 innings and had, 7 strikeouts? Pretty solid performance, especially after that leadoff hitter.
Yeah, so the guy that you're talking about is J.R. Ritchie, and J.R. Ritchie had one heck of a night. And I want to say this. He was called up, made his first start. I thought I had the line on him here. I don't have it in front of me, but So the bullpen for the Braves was depleted completely after that Ronaldo Lopez botched start.
Right.
But J.R. Ritchie was able to go 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts.
Right.
And after the game, I was able to listen to the post-game interview right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, thanks to us carrying the post-game show. And talk about a kid with a great outlook and a great personality. He kind of joked about the home run, like giving it up. He said, but luckily I was able to settle in there. And just very, very impressive composure from him in his first start. So that was a big deal. J.R. Ritchie, the Braves' #2 prospect, which, and I heard you said it yesterday on the show, some very impressive stuff J.R. Ritchie did in that start. That hasn't happened very often.
No, I mean, like you said, I mean, the fact that he pitched 7 innings, he gave up the home run, but beyond that, he was solid. Had 7 strikeouts. So no, he'd had a great first career start for sure.
Yeah. Tonight, the Braves back in action. For those of you that plan on watching on TV, it's on Apple TV tonight. So don't go to Braves Vision looking for them. Not on there tonight. They're on Apple TV. Back in action down in the ATL with a 3-game set with the nasty Philadelphia Phillies. Don't like when they come to town. Got to put it back on them a little bit. They're 8-17 and last. I want to say that one more time. Last in the National League East. 9.5 games behind your Atlanta Braves. So
that's crazy.
On the mound, Grant Holmes tonight. He's 1-1 with a 3.42 ERA. First pitch 7:15 on Mix 104.1 pre and post game coverage right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland.
Yeah, so, man, it's been a fun week. Excited to watch the rest of the NFL draft come up this weekend. And, of course,
we're an hour away.
We'll be right back at it on Monday, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, today's show went by a little too quick. We had some fun. It's been a fun week. Next week, Monday, we'll pick it right back up where we left off. Excited to have you guys tuning in. Again, download that free ESPN Cleveland 101.3 app. For Jim, I'm Andy. Have a great day and a great weekend, everybody.
Cleveland Tire Center having a huge sale on Goodyear tires. Buy 3 Goodyears, get 1 free. Don't forget the Cleveland Tire Center service department for alignments, oil changes, and more. Cleveland Tire Center, $46.99.